Hey, Monty. The town is still buzzing after last night's win, but I'm sure it was a quick transition for you guys to tonight. How'd you like your team's ability to kind of take in the win in the locker room, but then go from there to the plan and to today in terms of transitioning and getting ready for tonight?
Well, they've already had it in their minds to try our best to get last night's game and then turn the page. I think we've been a team that's tried to do the next right thing as much as we can, and it's hard to focus on the task at hand because we're all humans. But I thought our guys did a really good job of turning the page. We celebrated, and then we realized we had another challenge tonight, and that's the beauty of having veterans on your team like Chris and Jay. Those guys have been in those situations before, and that's what they were talking about last night.
I wanted to follow up on a play from last night for Cam's 3 in OT. That was one of those plays where Devin will set that screen and kind of force the defense to make a decision. That's a trick he's been using for a while now. When did you first notice his ability to kind of improvise like that and take advantage of the defensive attention that he gets in those situations?
Well, a lot of times Devin is a bit of a decoy in our offense because guys are draped all over him a lot. And I just remember my time with JJ Redick. JJ was the same way. He was a great screener and a great decoy, and Book is, the same way, just a ton more athletic and that kind of thing. So, we tell our guys to run plays, but also make plays. And that's something that Book is pretty good at.
Next up, we're going to go with Cam Buford with the Los Angeles New Observer, and then he'll be followed by Kahari Jones Jr.
Hey, Coach. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Coach, I want to ask you, the last time you faced the Clippers, you guys were kind of 8 games into your campaign this season, and you kind of had a new squad. What's been different about your squad now here that we're, 4 months into it, 50 games into it? And then secondly, kind of what do you see differently with these Clippers since the last time you guys met them?
Well, I mean, obviously we have more experience playing with each other. The guys that we brought into the system and onto our team are more familiar with how we play. And the Clippers are, a contending team. They're complete in every way. They have all-stars. They have guys who can create off the dribble, a number of guys who shoot it well from 3, and they have a top-notch defense. So I think the thing that doesn't get talked about enough is they have a championship coach. And of all the championship coaches I've been around or heard talked about, Ty never gets that kind of attention. And I think that's been something that for me I look up to. I think he's a really good coach. I watch a lot of their games just to see what he's running and that kind of thing. So they're a team that we know gives us a number of challenges because of everything that they have.
Next, we'll go to Kahari Jones Jr. with the Los Angeles Sentinel, and then Gina Mizell.
Hey, what's going on, Coach? Hope all is well. I wanted to ask you, with all the things that you just mentioned, with the Clippers being a contending team and Ty Lue being a championship coach, and when you put all that with the veterans that you have that you added to this team, what do you expect for your team tonight?
We're going to compete, and we're going to give them everything we have. That's how we play every night. We have an appropriate fear of this team, and if you don't, you'll get thumped. They had us down by 20, I think, at halftime at our place, and they got our attention right away from the jump. So we know we have to bring not just an A game, but we have to be consistent in all areas of the game for us to have a chance with this team.
Next, we'll go to Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Monty, your bench has been so key for you all season long, but after the overtime last night, the travel, just the way the schedule just broke with these two teams, is this a night where you're like, hey guys, we definitely need you guys to step up and play really well tonight?
No, it's not anything we mentioned. Our bench is still pretty young, so I think that would put more pressure on those guys. I think they understand that they have to play well for us. And it was case in point last night with Cam, and Torrey. All three of those guys had huge games for us. I didn't play campaign as much, but when he was out there, he was big time for us. And Cam Johnson was Cam Johnson. So I think they understand for us to be a good team, they have to be, as I've said, maintain what we have or increase it. And last night was an example of that.
Next, we'll go to Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Lawrence Murray.
Yeah, Coach. Couple things. One, Chris was talking about last night's win, and it kind of parallels with Gina's question. He was talking about heavy minutes. He said he thought that was a good game to have heavy minutes. Buck played 44. Then Chris played 43. DeAndre 41. I know you're trying to watch guys' minutes. How do you manage that in those kind of games? I know you're probably going to be another type. You could easily be another type of game like this tonight, as far as the minutes go.
It's not anything you spend a lot of time thinking about in the moment. Afterwards, when I look at the minutes, I don't regret it. It was an overtime game, so that jades it a bit. And then I talk to the guys. I think we've built enough trust where they'll tell me when they're tired or they feel it or anything like that. And I didn't get that from anybody. I think because it was a quick flight and we didn't lose any time, I think everybody was in bed by 1 o'clock. And, that's pretty good for an NBA team.
Right, yeah.
But I'm okay with that. On an off game, I'm usually down by 10:30, so I'm probably the one that needs a little bit of caffeine right now.
Okay. And Coach, the other thing was, I meant to ask you this yesterday. I believe Hubert Davis was with the Knicks when you were a rookie. And I was going to ask you just what your thoughts about him getting the head coaching job at Carolina.
It's huge for Hubert. I mean, not only has he paid his dues as an assistant coach, he went there, has a ton of experience. I know HBD after playing a couple years with him in New York, and we're from the same area. So I'm always watching Carolina games because of Hubert, and I played for Coach Williams on the USA team long time ago. And I'm just happy for Hubert, happy to see a guy like that get an opportunity. I think first African-American coach in North Carolina history, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And he's the guy for the job. If he wasn't, they wouldn't have him there. I mean, that's how they roll. They stay in-house. And I'm just happy for him. He's just a good dude. And I played with him. That guy can shoot the lights out of the ball, really smart, understands the game, and high character, integrity. So it's just pretty cool to watch that program, because most of my family is from North Carolina. So I have a lot of my family members who are pro Tar Heel, and I have to listen to a lot more than I care to. So I'm just happy Hubert's there.
Final two questions are Lawrence Murray with The Athletic, and then Melissa Rowland.
Monty, good to see you. And I'm really intrigued by the fact that your starting lineup, that starting five, has gotten to play so much this season, so much in this pandemic-affected season. I think only Utah's starters have played more minutes on the floor than yours. How much has that helped this team gel? And as we approach the postseason, what more are you looking to do, both with that lineup and with other lineups that could possibly get them ready for the postseason as well?
You guys asked so many questions in one session, man. It's hard for me to remember what you guys just said. I mean, anytime you can get with a new team, and especially a new backcourt, as much time as you can get on the floor with them is going to be a benefit. Everybody talks about Chris and Book, but I think the biggest combination is Chris and DA, because that pick and roll, you know, when it comes down to it, when you're playing in big games and everybody knows what you're doing, having synergy and pick and rolls and two-man games are really, really important. If you look at all the good teams, they do it really well. So I think it's helped us to have that kind of experience. And I guess what I'm looking for is same thing I'm always looking for, is just improvement month by month. That's something that I've preached since I've been here, and we have done that, and we've been tested for sure. But I think our team has shown that we've improved every month on both ends of the floor. So the experience and the amount of minutes that they played on the floor together, I believe, has been a benefit to us.
Thanks, Monty.
Thank you.
Our question is Melissa Rowland with Fox Sports.
Hey, Monty. Yesterday you talked about the symbiosis that you and Chris Paul have, especially late in games. You guys can kind of just look at each other and share a knowing look, and you both understand what the other one's thinking. I'm wondering, did you guys have that from day one, or is that something that developed? And if it's something that developed, how did that develop?
You lost me when you said symbiosis. I was like, oh my gosh, I know I didn't use that one. No, I think we've always had it. Like I've said before, the first time I was with Chris, I probably was in his way more. Now, I think we have this partnership that's, you know, growing and growing and growing. And with great players, I think you tend to remind them more than you do teach them. So when we're in games, I tend to remind him of something that I see, and then it triggers something in his head, and then he kind of runs with it. But he's always looking for an idea or a play call or something like that, and I'm doing the same thing. You know, I'll come to the bench, or I'll call him at a free throw situation and ask him what he sees. And Chris is pretty straight with me. You know, if I make a play call, he's like, Coach, I think we need to run this. I just say, go ahead. You're out there, you do it. If I feel pretty strongly about something, he can feel me when I'm in that mode, and he knows, you know, I kind of want to run something. He's like, let's do it. So I think that comes from trust, but I think it comes from wanting to win and understanding you know, we need each other. We're not good enough not to do it that way. Our team, the strength of our team is the team, and partnerships like that between me and Chris and Book, Chris and DA, all of our guys, symbiotic, is really important for us to have a chance to have success.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.